Zara Star, and this week on Relentless Humble Hustlers, I am here with professional photographer, studio owner, and someone who just recently confirmed that they're running for a council member at the city of Columbia. How you doing?
Doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Good. So Aaron Smalls for all, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, now some things you said that you want to implement for the city of Columbia is to work on definitely the roads, as well as implementing security for Columbia as well.
Well, yeah, that's dealing with like the public safety aspect. There's a lot of different things that I've noticed in the city of Columbia just from discussing things with the police department, actually just seeing things myself that we definitely need to work on. I had a talk with Deputy Chief Kelly a couple weeks back, and one of the biggest things I've noticed as of late is car break-ins, and what comes with those car break-ins, a lot of them would be people's guns getting stolen. With crimes like that, you end up having pretty much illegal firearms on the street, which most likely will be used in a violent crime.
Right.
Like, you rarely have guns that are actually registered to the registered owner that's used purposely for crime. It happens, but it's not as often as a stolen gun. So that's one thing I definitely wanted to try to figure out how to get a hold on, because it's happened way too much. Like, actually, I had a friend who had his gun stolen yesterday at his car.
Oh, wow. Just yesterday. So yes. I see that there's a lot of passion when you talk about the city of Columbia and being a council member, an at-large council member. So what are some things that you wanted to pretty much push for as far, well, you speak a lot on trust and building trust within the community. So how you plan on doing that?
Well, with that, I really want to be make our local government more transparent.
Right.
Of course, when it comes to government of any kind, you still have a certain level of transparency that you have to kind of keep under wraps at a certain point in time. Being in a leadership position, there's sometimes some things that it's in the best interest of the city to not say.
Yeah, because it causes a level of panic, especially now. So you're from Columbia, are you?
Yes.
Okay, and where did you grow up in Columbia?
I grew up on the northeast side. I wasn't actually in the city limits. I was born on Fort Jackson, military brat.
Both parents was in the military?
No, only my dad.
Okay.
But I was born on Fort Jackson. We pretty much moved to Germany for a little bit. Then stayed on base, and then from there on, I was raised in the northeast side of Columbia.
So for people like myself who don't necessarily know, as far as what you cover being a councilman in the city of Columbia, speak on that.
Being a council member, pretty much, you deal with implementing just local laws and government. So you deal with basically maintaining the infrastructure, public safety, basically just really protecting and providing for the citizens of Columbia. Ordinances, we've seen a lot of those during this pandemic, but there's a lot of different things that you can do to actually help the community. You can actually work on things when it comes to law enforcement. Like, for instance, one that I actually want to try to implement in Columbia is an ordinance to make up to 1 ounce of marijuana, decriminalize it.
There's so many states in the United States of America that legalize marijuana, but when you get to the Bible Belt, aka the South, it's banned. So for you running for council, why is that important for you to try to mandate 1 ounce?
We have a federal level that pretty much keeps certain things from being able to actually be pushed to the full extent. So 1 ounce is usually considered the amount where personal use.
Right.
And there's a lot of people who end up getting records just for getting pulled over. They have marijuana in their car, and now they have a record, which subsequently could keep you from getting a job, and could end up having you in the system, which starts a lot of times
a cycle.
That's like, yeah, exactly. So it's like that's just one way I feel like we can do to actually protect our citizens, especially since a lot of states in the country have now legalized marijuana for recreational use. There's a lot of cities around the country that actually have instituted the criminalization of marijuana up to a certain amount.
You were interested in public safety having some type of mental health programs. Explain what you mean.
There's not really any, I wouldn't say mandatory, but any specific push to have to make sure the mental health of our officers are actually cared for too as well. Definitely.
Because people could have some sort of PTSD from a dramatic call. You know, they come out to a homicide or come out to a break-in. They don't know what they're getting into, and there's no backup for the police officer. It's always so one-sided But now, for you running for City of Columbia councilman, you want to make sure that they have that backup and security as far as the mental health is concerned.
Definitely. And for me, that actually keeps the citizens and the officers protected. They might get called out for something and they might be triggered, and their reaction that could actually harm somebody might not necessarily be intentional or malicious, but it's just the fact that they're handling something that they've never gotten help for, maybe because they're scared of possibly losing their job. Definitely want to have some things in there to make sure that our officers are fit all around.
So in my opinion, they're underpaid. So now you have somebody going through all of these channels within their job, and they don't have nobody to back them up because, like I said, it's so one-sided, especially in today's world where you have the camera phone.
Definitely.
And not everything is being publicized. So I love the fact that you are willing and wanting for police officers to have some type of mental stability because it's important.
Definitely. Capital city of South Carolina, we should make it our mission to have our officers lead the way, even with pay.
Correct.
There's so many cities and counties around around South Carolina who actually pay much more than our police department. So that's something we definitely need to look at to, of course, retain officers, and also just to make sure that basically they can support their family. They don't have to worry about stress at home, because an underpaid officer could be stressing about finances as well. And that can make somebody react in the hostile manner just because all the stress that they have going on in other places. So it's just a lot of we need to actually think about to basically protect our citizens and to also protect our officers when it comes to certain things.
You talk about the 48 vacancies that Columbia Police Department has. How do you plan on working out those vacancies, also creating a higher pay raise?
Well, definitely I would be looking into the budget more. There's definitely places that we can find to relocate funds that are in the city. We do it all the time for certain projects that don't necessarily benefit our community at all anyway. So I definitely think public safety is paramount. So we definitely need to find ways that we can bring more money into the department to offer a competitive salary and a higher base rate. There's no reason, like I said, that we shouldn't have the top paid officers in the state of South Carolina. Because on top of that, having vacancies like that causes the job to be more stressful. You might have officers who have to work more overtime.
What other things that you want to tell my viewers that you are very passionate about with the City of Columbia that you want to implement in your run campaign for at-large council member?
So food deserts is one thing. You have a lot of grocery stores shutting down. Most of the time these places have corner stores, which most of the food in those are completely unhealthy. So it's like you're not really having accessible healthy food items. So that's one thing I definitely want to try to work on. I'm not sure if the city has ever tried to open a government ran grocery store, but that's an option. There's also a community ran grocery store. More so about investing in the community, not really doing it to make money. So in a lot of these grocery stores have problems being successful. A lot of them close down because they aren't making enough money. So by adding the government's influence or backing it with the government, that's a way we can potentially make it where these stores can actually remain open and be in the areas that we need them the most.
I love that.
But the other thing I recently looked into was pretty much like the rec centers. I feel like basically the aid and help with disparity in health, like you start habits when you're young. I went to 4 rec centers. I'm planning to visit all of them in Columbia just to find out pretty much what kind of healthy eating programs or healthy food options they have. Because of course kids come to the rec centers for maybe after school, summer, or just going there to maybe play basketball or go swimming or something like that. I feel like it's imperative to actually start pushing more healthy food items, especially in the vending machines, because
snacks and hot dogs, and that's not really helping any.
You're setting the pattern from a young age. So if you're wondering about health disparity, like if we're allowing unhealthy items to be provided in government facilities, we're aiding to those problems at the end of the day.
So you are obviously passionate about your community. I want you, so tell my viewers on how to help with your campaign and how to volunteer.
Definitely. So to volunteer for my campaign, we definitely need volunteers still. The election is November 2nd, and we have a lot of work to do still. The best way to reach me and my team to volunteer would be by email, and it would be smallsforall@aarondsmalls.com. Just include your name, your phone number, and we'll get back to you and get everything rolling from there. Also donations, it definitely takes money to run a campaign, from things like the t-shirts I'm wearing to actually promote yard signs, bumper stickers, little things like that actually help to market a campaign and just get the community aware of what who a candidate is. So that's a lot of what we need right now. To keep up to date with the campaign and to just see what we have going on, what we're involved in, or any programs or fundraisers or events that we have, you can follow the campaign at Aaron Smalls for All on Instagram, and on Facebook, Aaron D. Smalls for Columbia. That's the Facebook name, and you should be able to find that in the search menu. But that's the way to keep in contact.
And I thank you so much for sitting down with me, Aaron Smalls. I believe in what you're doing. I'm super proud of you, and just seeing you just go as a photographer, published photographer, and you wanting to show the love that you have for your city and make change. That is super big, because it takes one person to create change. And I wish you the best of luck through your campaign.
Definitely, thank you.